much, and we've been so hyper-focused on that. And anybody who knows a house loves to look at the, Zillow report or whatever and watch their house value go up monthly. But at the same time, you do get a little nervous even watching that number go up because you remember what happened in 2008 when everybody was buying houses with essentially funny money back in the day, and we saw that crash.
Sure. Yeah, it was interesting. I think last year, the average person made more money in appreciation if they were a homeowner, made more money in appreciation on their primary home than they took home in just pay from their job. And so that's kind of a crazy thing. It's not normal. So home prices rose fast and furiously, and those are starting to cool off a bit. We're seeing the frenzy die down, which is a good thing. And so because it was too much, as anybody who tried to buy a house last year knows, it was too much. It was over the top. And so I think, again, this is a good thing for people who eventually do want to buy a home. And it was unsustainable. But it is one of those things that is concerning when things start to shift. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're back in for something that like 2008, 2009. That seems to be off the table based on kind of the underlying fundamentals of what's happening. There's still a lot of demand out there for homes. And so even as prices cool and as the market chills out a little bit, which is a good thing, it doesn't mean that we're in for necessarily some sort of housing carnage.
Absolutely. Okay, good. There are a lot of people who are listening in their cars this morning saying, oh, we like this Joel guy. This Joel guy has given us the news we were hoping for. Have him back on. Okay, let's talk about now maybe people who don't still have that excessive savings and they're looking at using their consumer credit cards right now. I know a lot of people that I know have said things like, I don't really have the money to maybe go on this vacation, but I've been pent up for 2 years. I have got to go. And they're throwing stuff on their credit cards. And it seems like Americans are borrowing more, even though we know that inflation is out there, but they're still ready to go, you know what? I know this is going to be cyclical. Everything's going to be okay. And sure, I can put that on my credit card.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, especially, post-COVID when our lives were thrown off for so long and maybe you've been stir crazy, you've been in your house much more than you wanted to be, and you missed out on a couple of family vacations that you're used to taking. But I would say this, I think it's a bad idea to add on extra debt, especially high interest rate debt, especially if we're talking credit card debt, because the actual price of that vacation is not the price you think it is. When you're talking about, especially as interest rates are going up, the interest rate on your credit card is going to continue to rise. And so what you're paying for that vacation is going to be, the bottom line number is going to be a whole lot bigger than you think it is. And so, yeah, you're right. Like rates of borrowing are climbing. Credit card usage is up in a big way. Even when you look at something like the buy now, pay later companies, which you can, through these buy now, pay later companies on basically any website, you can sign up for 4 easy installments of buying anything that you want. And so many people have opted to buy things, anything from like a pair of jeans to an airline ticket that way. And now we're seeing more and more people being late on those payments, which is supposed to be the easiest way to pay for something, right? And no, it's a lot of people are falling behind on those too.
I was just talking with KTLA's tech reporter, Rich DeMuro, about the fact that Apple now is coming up with Apple Pay, and they're letting you do one of those exact things you were talking about, the 4 payments over X amount of time. But they're doing it with no interest. And I know that credit card companies are going to, probably take a step back and gasp and, clutch their pearls thinking, oh my God, wait a minute, you're taking away our business on that. But if you had the opportunity to do those 4 payments and you had no interest, okay, that sounds like a plan. But the minute that you do those 4 payments and then now all of a sudden you're spreading it over 4 credit card payments, not so good.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem with these, it sounds nice on paper, right? I'm buying this $100 thing, but I'm going to pay it in $25 chunks over 4 months, and I'm not paying any interest. I'm making out like a bandit. But ultimately, you're not, because we're becoming payment buyers, and we're buying more things than we should be. And so we find that our savings are getting eroded. We're actually spending more money than we thought we were going to. And I think that's the biggest downfall of these buy now, pay later companies, is that consumers feel a little more freedom to spend more than they should. And because of that, they end up in bigger trouble down the road. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing delinquencies rise on these buy now, pay later payments. And so people are like, oh, it sounded good, but now I can't afford this payment. And you've got more stuff in your house, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's not a good thing for your bottom line.
And I guess it would I guess there's a snowball effect potential here, because if you bought one thing 1 month, and like you said, it was $100, and so you thought, okay, I only have to pay $25 this month. but then that month you also bought something else for $100 and $100 on something else. And now you've got 3 payments and you brought yourself to $75. And each month, as you're adding more to these 4 payments, whatever, interest free or not, the number, the actual hard number just keeps going up. So I could see how people could default because all of a sudden they bought 5 things last month and it was only supposed to be, $25 a month or whatever, but they forgot that the month before they had things they bought and the month before. So all of a sudden now they've got a $500 payment and they're wondering, where in the world did this come from?
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds nice to get the thing that you want now, even if you don't have the money, right? I mean, I think that's when credit cards began. That was the promise of credit cards, and that has gotten out of control in this country too. But buy now, pay later is just a furthering of that, where it's like, yeah, you can totally get what you want today, and you can pay for it over time, no big deal. And what happens, again, it's not the terms of these arrangements that are awful for consumers, but it's the way we use them. It's our own behavioral inadequacy that causes us to buy more than we should because we want to front load our spending. And then let's say we're not planning, for worst case scenarios, we don't have enough money in savings or an emergency fund built up. And so let's say something does happen with a loved one, somebody gets sick and you've got to take care of something, you've got to stay home from work one day and you don't get paid. Those kinds of things end up, then you're like, oh, now what payment am I going to miss out on? Well, I guess I'm not going to pay my buy now, pay later payment because those things are pretty forgiving. But when it comes down to it, we should have avoided them in the first place. And they cause a lot of stress for people. And I'd rather see people own fewer things and have more of their own money, keep more of it on hand in savings.
All right. So now I'm asking you to go from economist to shrink. How do we get people to change their mindset?
Oh, man. Okay, so that's a really good question. I think really what it comes down to, one of the things I talk about, like the 4-letter word in money is budgeting, right? Most people, they're like, if you tell them to budget, they tune out really quickly. And I totally get that because I'm the kind of person who, I'm not super detail oriented. I'm more of a big picture guy. And so budgeting has never been my strong suit. But when I started to realize that the cool thing about budgeting, it wasn't that it was there to restrict my spending. But that when you take the positive view, that the budget is actually there to help you achieve the things you want the most in life. When you start at it from a goal-oriented perspective, hey, you know what, we do want to take this epic vacation next summer, and we're not sure how we can get there. Well, the budget is actually there to help you do that. And so it can help you constrain in the areas that mean less to you, so you can spend lavishly in the areas that are really meaningful to you. And so to me, that's the best thing. I think we've framed the budget all wrong, and we've made people hate them, which, the way we've talked about it, it makes sense. No wonder people, don't want to talk about budgets at all. But when you frame it the other way, and you're like, oh, man, how can I get my money to actually do the most important things that I want out of life? And so for some people, that means, spending less on transportation, right? Owning a cheaper car. Our family, we own one car. It's a $5,000 minivan. It's really old. And it's not that I couldn't afford something nicer. It's that I don't want to because I have more important things that I want to achieve. And so I think that's, if we can just talk about budgets better, if you can rethink what a budget means in your life, I think it's going to have a huge impact. It's going to have a radiating impact into every area of your personal finances.
Joel, I am a huge fan of yours. Will you come back on Wake Up Call?
Hey, anytime, Jen. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. Tell people, though, where they can go and get the How to Money podcast. And also, what do you have coming up? Because I bet you're going to have subscribers today. How to Money podcast.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, so you can find the How to Money podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. And, oh, man, we're talking about all sorts of stuff. This week, our next episode is our Friday Flight. We always talk about the headlines of the week and what they mean, how they pertain to your personal finances. Also, we just launched a newsletter that's really fun. It comes out once a week, and it's free. It's just howtomoney.com/newsletter.
Okay, fantastic. Joel, I look forward to having you back on the show. You are fantastic.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it.
Thanks. See you later. That is How to Money podcast, co-host Joel Larsgaard. And again, you can go to howtomoney.com or just get his podcast on the iHeartRadio app at How to Money. All right, when we come back, we are going to talk with ABC's Karen Travers. So yesterday, of course, you had the victims of Uvalde, the parents and things like that, who went and testified before Congress about gun control. But it was actor Matthew McConaughey and his wife Camila who really made headlines because, unbeknownst to most of us, we all knew that Matthew McConaughey was from some little town in Texas. I didn't know until yesterday it was Uvalde that he was from. And what his wife brought as a symbol of those children killed in Uvalde, Texas yesterday absolutely killed me. So Karen's coming up. in just a second. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. Nick Paliocchini's going back to the 15.
It's a mess for your drive right now, Jen. It looks like overnight Caltrans crews may be running a little bit late for the drive. It's a slow going for you on the southbound side of the 15, packed in really tight for you through the Corona area from Ontario Avenue as you make your way toward Cajalco. Actually seeing those delays toward Dos Lagos in the northbound side of the 15, going to be a rough go for your drive from Indian Truck Trail as you make your way back towards Cajalco. It was overnight Caltrans crews on the 15 southbound from Cajalco toward Dos Lagos or Wyrick that had the two left lanes shut down. If you haven't have an update of what is causing that slowing, pound 250 on your cell phone, keyword KFI traffic. KFI and this guy helps get to there faster. I'm Nick Paliocchini.
If the last couple of years have taught us one thing, it's to value the things that we can control, and addressing hair loss is no exception. Advanced hair can reverse years or even decades of hair loss with a simple one-day treatment. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and your hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. It works for bald spots, receding hairline, thinning hair, men, women, everybody. The top-rated physicians at Advanced Hair have improved tens of thousands of people's lives, people just like you and me who desire a full head of hair. Schedule your free consultation by calling 844-333-HAIR and get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Do what I did and value the things that you can control. Start regrowing your own natural hair today with Advanced Hair. Phone them up, 844-333-HAIR. The before and after photos help me make my decision, so make sure to view them at advancedhair.com.
This report is sponsored by MGM Resorts. Having the time of your life is more rewarding than ever when you stay at any of the 20-plus MGM resorts nationwide. Now with MGM Rewards, you can dine, stay, play, and earn on all of it. Visit MGMRewards.com for more details. Subject to earning and redemption limitations applicable to certain purchases and in certain states. This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by personal injury firm Owen Patterson & Owen.
The Angels set a new franchise record with their 13th straight loss, this time falling to the Red Sox in extras. They fired manager Joe Madden hours earlier. The Dodgers were blanked by the White Sox to start their road trip. They've dropped 3 straight and get a rematch tonight. And Walmart heir Rob Walton has officially agreed to buy the Broncos for $4.65 billion, which shatters the prior record for an American sports franchise. I'm Misty Jordan.
Not all lawyers make it personal, but at personal injury firm Owen Patterson & Owen, they do. And managing partner Susan Owen would be honored to represent you if you've been injured. OPOLaw.com.
If you bought or leased a vehicle after 2015 and you've gone repeatedly back for a car repair to no avail, your car may be a lemon. Let me introduce you to the Knight Law Group. They'll help you get rid of your lemon and get your money back and nothing out of pocket. Call the Knight Law Group for a free consultation. Call 844-43-LEMON, 844-43-LEMON, or visit knightlaw.com. That's Knight with a K. That's knightlaw.com.
Paid spokesperson. Every case is different. Results vary. Courtesy of Roger Kiernos, Knight Law Group, LLP.
The podcast Deliver Us from Ervil reveals the dark story of Ervil the Baron and the reporters, cops, and insiders who tried to take down his vicious, organized crime family.
When I arrived in that town, I expected to find it under siege, people living in fear. But instead, I found something more interesting than that crime I had originally been sent to cover.
Listen to Deliver Us from Ervil on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Search, browse, and email privately, all for free with the DuckDuckGo app.
My dad was a man's man, but one thing I remember is how often he told my mother he loved her. I'm not always good at sharing emotions, and I sure wish my dad was still with us so I could tell him how much he means to me. My dad died when I was 17, and at that stubborn age, the words "I love you" just weren't in me. This Father's Day, tell your father how much you love and appreciate him. These are some of the lessons we teach our Rooter Heroes. I'm so confident in our team, I put my personal number on every business card. If you're having any plumbing problems, give our heroes a chance to make you smile. We will cable your drain for $77, period. So call us at 866-DRAIN-77. That's 866-DRAIN-77. Our Rooter Hero customer service agents will make your day a little bit better. Happy Father's Day, and thank you.
CL 102-8886.
Contractor license 1023-790.
When we hook up Digital Duncan, playtime is over.
Digital Duncan doesn't guess. Digital Duncan knows what's wrong. When your AC breaks down, call GETTL. GOETTL.
We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
If your business has 5 or more employees and you manage to survive COVID, you're eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of $26,000 per employee. And this is not a loan. It's yours. The challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape? How does your business get the money? Go to getrefunds.com. They're specialists in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they do all the work. No charge up front. They share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP money, nonprofits, even those that had increases in sales. They got my business a 6-figure refund, and their average client gets $250,000 back. Go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions, they do the rest. GetRefunds.com, GetRefunds.com.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday, September 24th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Keep listening to win your way there before you can even buy tickets.
On sale Friday, June 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
But starting June 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Capital One cardholders can score tickets and other awesome experiences before anyone else for 48 hours only or while supplies last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
Portions of the following program will be recorded.
Hey y'all, if you're one of the millions of Southern Californians under the new severe water restrictions, then you do not want to miss this special edition of Home. I'm going to separate lawn watering fact from fiction and help you understand how to respond while doing right by your lawn. Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. This Saturday morning at 6 on KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
I'm going to get you your election results in just a second on your wake-up call. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. Let's say good morning to Karen Travers. So, Karen, how can we make the loss of these lives matter? That was the message from actor Matthew McConaughey yesterday to President Biden. Matthew McConaughey, a lot of us didn't even know he was from Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah, and I think that was an important detail, that this wasn't just a celebrity, an actor showing up to meet with the president and meet with lawmakers on Capitol Hill and then try and pushing for some issue that they cared about. He was there as a Texan, he was there as a native of Uvalde, Texas, and he said he was there as a gun owner. He said he grew up in Texas. It's where he learned how to master a Daisy BB gun. Uvalde, he says, is where he learned responsible gun ownership. His mom was a kindergarten teacher. She taught less than a mile away from Robb Elementary. And